Oh, we're not supposed to touch these days. There we go.
Perfect.
We don't know how to do this anymore. 2020 is so confusing.
But here we are. We're in beautiful Michigan with, is it Lake Huron behind us?
This is technically Alaska Bay, which is part of Lake Huron, but
So I
nobody
clearly don't
really
know what I'm
knows that.
talking about.
So we're in the thumb. So let's see, is this forwards or backwards?
Yeah, that's right. And
So
then
we're here, right at
you're
the tip of
just
the thumb.
pointing that out.
I am. So yeah.
So we're here, and it's the 4th of July, and so I wore some special earrings, and I think you can see. It's hard for me to tell, but you can see. I got the sweetest message from somebody this week. I got the nicest email, and I see you, and I hear you, and I have not had a chance to respond because I'm on vacation. But she told me that she loved my statement earrings.
That's
So I
cute.
felt especially cool that I had special 4th of July / Melissa's birthday earrings. So here we are.
Yeah.
Isn't this funny?
It is.
So we're here.
I don't know if everyone realizes that. I mean, I think most people do, but you live in St. Louis. I live
do.
in Michigan. The very first time we met was when my daughter was going to school at WashU in St. Louis. So I drive down once or twice a year, and of course, you know, people think that if you're a shop owner, you don't go to other shops. Guess what? We all go to other people's shops when we're on vacation. And I think I was taking a class, and that was before you even owned the shop. Is that right?
I think so.
I think you were like transitioning into ownership.
In
maybe.
fact, I may have been in that class now that I think about it.
I can't remember.
'Cause I took a
It's been a while ago, because that was like 4 years ago, I think. Because it was
Yeah.
right before you were buying the shop, and I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. So I got to know Megan because of our needlepoint connection. Then we re-met at Market. I think I had to reintroduce myself to you, and you were a brand new shop owner, and I think we were in Melissa Prince's booth, and I had to say a room.
Good
and I'm
call.
like, yeah. So, and everyone like thinks that we're the young shop owners, which I think is really funny because today is my 53rd birthday. So.
Oh, that's nothing, girl. You got yours. So what's funny then is I don't know if it's just because of our personalities or because we have, I don't know, like minds for our businesses, but we've just kind of clicked and have kept in touch and
Been a huge support for me and I think for each other, which is
yeah. And
great.
then so I think I may have called Melissa more in the past
since March 15th.
4 months. Has it been 4 months? March, April, May, June. 3 months. 3 months. Okay. 3.5.
Yeah.
I probably have called her more than I've called like my mom or my
Oh, for sure.
husband.
We've had some like 3-hour phone calls at times.
And what are you going to do? And how are you handling this? And whatever. And so it's just been like a really, really awesome, really a silver lining. I know
Yes,
everybody's like
for
trying
sure.
to kind of find silver linings.
sure.
And so it's been just really cool. So during one of those 3-hour phone calls, or maybe it wasn't even a 3-hour phone call, whatever. It was during one of our phone calls that Melissa says, oh, I'm going to go up north for my birthday, you know, and I'm like, where are you going up north? And we get to talking about all this. And it turns out that a friend of mine, who I've known now for 20 years, has a cottage up north, is what they say here, up north here in Michigan, that's only about 20 miles. It would be, as the crow flies, about a 20-minute drive, but instead
Right.
it was about a 40-minute drive. So anyway, so I came over here to help Melissa celebrate her birthday. And to kind of catch up in person. And then we also decided, let's do one of our video podcasts together. So we're trying to do some social distancing. We're trying, you know, we're not kissing each other or anything like that. But so we decided that it might be just sort of fun to talk about ourselves and then also being on vacation. So
and what we stitch, because we do talk about stitching a lot.
we do
so.
stitch too. So
Talk about our kids and our families, but we talk about stitching a lot.
well, and it's also kind of fun, and I think one of the reasons why people like to watch this is because not all of us have friends who also stitch, and so it's just kind of nice that we can all sort of have a conversation together. But I'll just say really quickly, so I'm actually not from St. Louis. I'm from Northern Illinois, and I have been in St. Louis now for about 20 years. But I did not start out as a shop owner. I just bought my shop 3 years ago, as Melissa said. And I technically really only started stitching about 7 years ago. So not only do I look to Melissa for advice and kind of big sisterly kind of stuff, but also she's a much more talented
has to
sister.
point out I'm older. Mhm. Just like
Hey,
a
it's her
little
birthday.
sister would do. Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, hey, at least I didn't say like my mom or my grandma or something. I did say sister.
Then you'd be asked to leave.
Anyway, but my point is that not only do I see Melissa as a trusted friend and a colleague and just a great person, but also is a really talented stitcher.
That's very
So I love to get advice from her on that too. So when we kind of started talking about what are we going to talk about here, we were saying, hey, we're on vacation. Let's grab our stitching bags. And so we both are sitting here with sort of our pile because Melissa likes to call herself, what do you like to say? You have starteritis?
Yes, I have a severe case of starteritis. I do finish a lot of things, but I have multiple things going at a time. It's really fun to start a new project. I love the planning of it. I love the pulling the threads. I love, and I love the stitching, but the planning's really fun. So.
And I don't know about you, but I think sometimes I get even more joy out of starting the project and organizing the project. Mm-hmm. I mean, the last stitch surely does feel great, but it's almost like more exciting to just get it started. So
right.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So
for sure.
So what are you stitching? What you got?
Oh, well, let's see. Well, one of the things that we've started during the quarantine, I think.
Yeah, I've got that
was
too.
our joint project. So,
yes.
One of the things that kind of during this whole quarantine, I started out doing, when Megan was doing her designer sofa series, I was doing a What You Working On series. And then that's kind of how we came together into doing this Pointing It Out podcast. And she, of course, being one of my needlepoint besties, was one of the first people I interviewed for the What You're Working On.
Oh, right.
And so during that conversation, she pulled out her tiger canvas.
I don't know if you can see this.
And, we forgot about that paper we were going to do.
Oh, yeah, we were going to put paper behind these. Whoops.
Oh, well.
So anyway, this has always been one of my favorite designs from Joanna at the Plum Stitchery. It's so clever. I don't know if you all know this piece or not, but you can see that the tiger has a... he's being caught by the toe.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yes. And so I pulled this out. Go ahead.
Yeah, so here's my version because Megan said, you need to stitch this with me. And unbeknownst to us, I don't think we were really paying attention, Joanna, who's the designer of this piece, one of our other needlepoint industry besties, said, I want to stitch that with you. And then Liz, my yarn manager, who's now become a huge needlepointer, is like, she was on our call too, or on,
the live,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And was keying in, I want to do it too. So thus became our little virtual stitch along. And then Joanna only had 2 canvases left.
So yeah, so we said, well, how many have you got left? And so we, among us, bought whatever she had in stock. And it turned out that we had 2 extras.
Right.
So some of you may have seen, we sort of said, who else wants to stitch this? The first 2 to jump on board are in. So we caught up with these 2 delightful women who are sisters in different parts of the country.
And
Carrie and
Sue Ann.
Sorry.
There we go. We were mixing up their names.
But yeah, so one's in Michigan, one's in New York. And so we had this Zoom call. What did we do? 2 or 3?
I think we did 2, and then the weather got nice, and so we all decided we're going to hiatus a little.
Which is
fall.
why when you see Melissa's, I don't know if you could tell, but she puts hers up here, and she's got all this background done. And I have been working very diligently on the bottom area. So
yeah, well, it's a tricky one to figure out the background. We've I don't know if you can
that
see
turned
this
out
very well.
so cool. Do you call that black work?
This is a black work pattern, and it is definitely for me stitch in the morning when my eyes are fresh and my brain is fresh because it requires a lot of thought.
Thinking, yeah.
But I'm determined that the thinking part of needlepoint is going to keep us hopefully with our mind sharp well into our later years. So
That's a good point.
I usually have a dummy project going and something I really have to think about.
Speaking of that, I brought my dummy project. Did you?
I just started a brand new one because I finished my last dummy project.
Oh man, I wish I
Lately
could
I've been doing a lot of dummy projects. They've been getting more work
well,
than anything else.
Yeah, so my dummy project is not dumb at all. It's awesome. I love this piece, and I've always liked this piece. It's a Charlie Harper
So
from the
awesome.
Meredith collection, and it's actually a brick cover. And I've never done a brick cover before. Where's that at here? I don't know what people
There
can
we
see
go.
or
Now
not,
you can
but
see.
so okay, so like true confession, do you see this little clip here? And there's no bars, and it's all scrunched up. I always have one project scrunched up, clipped together, rolled in, all basket weave.
Just
There's
like this.
yours.
There we go. I
Yeah.
can't tell you
That's
there.
a Cooper Oaks. Is that right? No.
Yes, Cooper. It's one of their designers from Cooper Oaks. I can't
Okay.
remember his name. Shoot, I'm forgetting his name. But it's a Cooper Oaks designer, and as you can see, I literally just started it last night.
Starteritis
So my
strikes
case
again.
of starteritis. So mine's all rolled up, and mine'll start to look all mushy like Megan's, but for
It's not
now,
quite there yet.
and it still looks crisp for the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So people come into the shop and they say, do you work on bars? Should I work on bars? Why? There's this whole debate. I don't. I do. I do about. I bet it's 75-25. I bet I do 75% on bars, 25% off bars. Because I also do belts, which I have one of those too. But yeah. So for me, I need needlepoint. As just a way to turn off my brain and
Right.
to just like sit and be and not be thinking. And so anyway, I've been cruising through this guy during quarantine.
And I brought you more thread for it. 'cause
That's
you ran out of your
right.
dye lot.
So it turned out that one of my employees and I were both stitching a quarantine piece at the same time with the same silk and ivory color, which I believe is leprechaun. So
It
I've
is.
determined that it's going to be the lucky. I think this is called lucky ladybug. Anyway, so so that's another thing that we often do is, oh my gosh, do you have this thread? Oh my gosh, do you
Yeah.
have this dye lot? Oh my gosh, I need one more. And
It's
so
usually for our customers, not for ourselves.
right.
But occasionally it's for
right,
ourselves.
and I'm like, I think I need one more, and I should know. I truly think I need one more, but I had her pull two, so
Yeah, you're good to go.
Anyway, yes. So that is my dummy off bars, scrunched up
Yeah.
deal. I'm excited about that. So
Well, and the other thing that I think everyone probably is like me, but maybe not. We're talking about getting ready to go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up here yesterday, which was Friday, and I packed all my needlepoint on Wednesday. And then I got the call from you. What do you need from my store? What do I need from your store? And then Thursday I packed my clothes, and Friday I packed the food. So
Yeah.
I packed the most important things first. Clearly, the needlepoint, and a couple books. I think I put a couple books in my bag.
who has
too.
time for that? I'm actually listening to a book, which is great
yeah.
because I drove, by the way, with two children, to my
Yay.
parents and then here, which was actually not as bad as I expected it to be. I have to say. So it was a lot of driving, which I couldn't needlepoint, which bugs me, but that's okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so I packed my my needlepoint first, and then you called me and said, "Wait, I need a couple more things from your shop." And
And then she still had time to run back to hers.
Yes. So
Anyway.
that's where we brought our. We're not wearing them right this moment, but another needlepoint.
Oh yeah. So that's something that I
requirement.
bought from Melissa because I actually don't have them in the store. I'm thinking about carrying them, but they're Peepers bifocals.
Yeah. So these are, the regular on the top, and then a little bifocal, so I can.
So do
sit
you
outside
actually
sun.
sell the ones too that are just the whole reader is the
I have not had. I have
Mega-
special ordered some of those, but most people want them to be both when they're outside because they're at the pool and they're like watching their kids
Up
in the
and down,
pool,
sure.
and they want to be able to clearly see whether their child's drowning or not.
Yeah, right.
So,
So you got to make sure everybody's
Yeah.
in check. So you want to look up and down. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I quickly called her and I was like, I don't have any of those. Could you bring me some? So I'm excited to use those. Yeah. So that was
our
an exciting
smooshy
little
one,
thing.
And our tigers. What else did you bring? Because I know
So-
you packed your needlepoint first too.
I did. So the other thing I'm working on off bars, like I mentioned, is a belt for my son. So actually, this is how I got to start needlepointing, was all belts. So when I moved to St. Louis, everybody's wearing needlepoint. Well, that's an overstatement. But you see needlepoint belts a lot. And I was like, what is that all about? I actually, when I was a kid, I did a lot of embroidery and cross stitch and sewing. My mom's a seamstress. But I had never needlepointed. And so I was like, what is all that fuss about? What is that? And so my first, I think, dozen projects were belts.
That's so
I stitched
funny.
them for other people. My husband has a couple. It was just a really good way for me to like travel and sit. I was I was a fundraiser for 15 years, and I used to travel in airplanes and a lot. And so I just had my needlepoint, and I could work on that.
But you need to do some of my fun style belts. Everyone,
I know.
Everyone talks about your earrings, and everyone talks about my
Your belts. That's fair.
So
That's
you-
fair.
you
I
need
do
to
not
find
have a belt of
something
my
for
own.
yourself.
You're right about that. I do. I'm a gift giver by nature. I love to give, and I just particularly love to give something that I made. So I've given a lot of belts away. My brothers,
Right.
But anyway, so this one's for my son, and it's he is so cute. We call him Baby Beluga because he always loved. I don't know if any of you are I don't know if you can see that, but they're little belugas. I had our custom painter do that for him. And I'm actually just stitching in a stripe because I thought it would be fun. That wasn't painted in, but it's just kind of something I'm trying. But yeah, so this is his beluga belt. My goal is to have this one done. He's supposed to start, oh, good idea. He's supposed to start kindergarten in the fall, so I was kind of hoping I might have this little fresh belt for him. He may or may not wear it. But then...
He'll wear it on the first day of school.
Maybe. Maybe. And then it will act as his other 2 belts that he doesn't wear as shop samples. We sell a ton of belts in our shop. St. Louis is a big belt capital, as I mentioned, and our belt finisher is in St. Louis. And so...
Ironically, is also my belt finisher and has been for over 30 years.
At the shop, yeah.
Our
So
shop.
he's been in the business for, I think, 30. His dad started the company. He started, actually might be 40 now that I say that. I don't want to age him, but he is, yeah. So he's just an awesome guy, and I get to visit him once a week, and it's really fun. So, yeah. So that's the other thing I'm working on, scrunched up.
Yeah, and you said
Yeah.
that was a shop sample, so I think somewhere in this mess.
Yeah, so this we were talking earlier before we got on camera that, a lot of what we do is for shop sample or to use, my goal when I first bought my shop was to use every thread that we carried because I had been kind of dedicated to belts, so I used a lot of impressions and pearl cotton obviously for the icons. At the time we did not carry the Planet Earth wool, but now we do, and so I had used a lot of that, and so my goal was to use a lot of the kind of specialty threads and things. So obviously this is not an example of that, but what I'm saying is a lot of times what we're stitching is directed because of something that we're working on in the shop. So you've got something there, I think.
So I brought in, I think I showed, if anyone watched my unboxing videos, I brought in these Beth Gant self-finishing rounds. So this is
Cute.
a 4-inch round. The back just pops out. So Megan and I are both in a little bit of a panic. It's all going to be okay, but
She's talking me off the ledge.
the finishing process this year, because everyone has been home stitching, and we're so glad you all are. We certainly have been stitching a ton too, but the finishers are going to be really backlogged. So when I saw Beth's cute rounds, and these come in like 8 different colors, I think, and
Cool.
some of them come with an easel back. So I thought, well, what you really need to do is have a sample, because no one really envisions how this turns into a little hanger with bows on it. You could even like use paint pens on here. So
Cute, yeah. Well, and I think excuse me for reaching,
Yeah.
but I think the sample that she shows has a little curly ribbon and then a curly wire, and then they've just attached some ribbon and some
Yep.
little wiry things that make it just like super darling.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that part of it. So because I wanted to finish quickly, I pulled out a little 13 mesh ornament I have. And again, it's not on bars because I'm just like, I'm just going to bop this off really fast. And to Megan's point of using threads, we have Stardust. Do you guys carry Stardust?
We do.
And I feel like it's a really underappreciated thread. I think it has this really great shimmer, and it's, for those of you who haven't worked with it, it is the silken ivory with a little bit of metallic strewn through. So that's what the background is. And then this loveliness, which I should show you on a spool, but I don't have the spool handy.
Yeah.
This is the shimmer blend from Painter's Threads, and they're all named after different artists. So this is Matisse. And again, it's a thread that I don't use that often. So I'm just basket weaving these little stars or snowflakes, excuse me, and then it'll get popped in this guy. And you guys pretty soon, if you watch my unboxings, hopefully maybe in 2 weeks, we'll see it on my unboxing.
Oh, are you going to actually send that to your finisher to fix up for you? Is that what you're...
This is self-finishing. I'm chopping this puppy off, popping it in there. And then I just need to, well, it is. And then if you've never done any finishing, I've only finished something myself once, and I'll never do it again. The end result wasn't that great, and it was a lot of work, and I'd rather spend my time stitching.
Yep.
But for this, you'll cut it off like with 2 threads remaining all the way around, and then, here's your template when you go to cut. You're just going to put this behind you.
Yeah.
So there's your, like that. Leave your 2 threads, and you could paint this. I don't know if I'll get that industrious, but I'll put a hanger on here with some cute bows. I've got lots of bows.
And you'll just use like an ornament hanger from your Christmas stash or something, right?
Or
At
I might
home?
even just cut a piece of white pearl cotton in a loop and put a knot.
What a great idea! Or an
and then
actual ribbon.
And then tie the ribbons to, because I think this hole's so small, I don't know if you could really get a ribbon through that hole well.
I
So I
see.
think a loop of like white pearl cotton or red pearl cotton, whatever, it doesn't really matter. and then tie like some grosgrain bows to
Cute.
that.
Very cute.
And then we also have those cute. We do our finisher does those a lot. Have you seen those beads like the silver and
Yes,
gold
she
beads?
throws a bead on
So
there.
I might
It's
throw a
very
bead
cute.
on there. So I think it'll take about 10 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll take me longer to decide which ribbons because I'm
Right.
so crazy.
Because you like them. Yeah.
But that'll be
So
soon.
Beth, if
So-
you're watching, I have not placed my order yet.
but
It's
now
coming.
you are.
Well, it reminded me I need to
Yeah.
be doing that.
So,
So,
and
these
the
are
ones
great.
with the easel backs are awesome because I ordered those in white and black because
Mm-hmm.
they still have the little hole at the top, so it gives you the option of hanging them, or you could stand them
standing
up.
it.
Which
Cute.
for a Christmas ornament, maybe not. But if you did like a graduation round, you know that like the Kathy Schenkel colleges
Yep.
or whatever,
Kids
I
sit
thought
in an
those would be
office,
really cool.
bookshelf, something
and
like
she's
that.
got all sorts of colors, so they might even be like school colors. I hadn't really thought about that, but.
Yeah, I need to get out painter's thread. That's a thread that's underappreciated in our shop. I'm just looking at that as
colors
you're
are
putting it away.
so
The colors are
amazing.
cool. It's intimidating to me. It's a ribbon. It's over dyed, and it's a little bit of an intimidating thread to me. But I just need to get it out and use it. I mean,
But
you're
it's
just
really
basket
no
weaving with it
difference than like Neon Rays Plus, which you probably use all the time.
all the time. Yeah.
It-
Yep. You're right.
The only thing you have to watch is because it's over dyed, you don't want to stitch it in basket weave because then you get those stripes.
In too large of an area.
So
yeah,
what I
yeah,
learned
yeah.
from one of my customers the other day, I love that my customers teach us stuff every day, right?
For sure.
And she wanted to use an over dye. I'm like, you can't do basket weave that, you'll get stripes. And I think in her head, she's like, you just watch. She didn't say anything. She went home, she came back, she goes, well, so here's my basket weave. And she'd taken it, and I'm like, this is so brilliant. I don't know why I didn't think of it. With an over dye, she'd taken it and she stitched the stripes in skip tent, or she skips in skip tent and then went back,
Went back
and
in
filled
and
it in.
essentially skip tented again.
Right. So when you do skip tent, it's basically like Chody's plaid, where you're doing every other stitch.
Yeah.
So then you don't get those stripes. And I'm like, is that brilliant?
Brilliant.
So that was my friend Shar. Shar probably is watching us.
Genius,
so thank
Shar.
you, Shar. We
Thanks
love
for
you.
the tip.
And I think she learned that from somebody else. I can't remember who she really got her tip from, but I got it from her, and so now we're sharing it with all of
We'll
you.
share it around.
Yeah.
So the other thing I love to do, and I don't know if you do this. I've never asked you this, but I love to stitch like in season or on theme.
For sure.
It didn't actually. Weirdly, I have something in my stash now that I think about it. But I was thinking I don't really have a 4th of July thing, which is
Right.
weird. I mean, I should, and I do now that I'm saying that. But my guess is you have a lot of it.
I do.
But what I do have is in my stash is this awesome piece from Melissa's shop. And don't look too close because I actually haven't put any stitches in yet because we just got here. But I am planning to sit here with Melissa this afternoon and do some stitching and stitch on this. And this says Great Lakes Good Times. It's an exclusive, right?
It is.
From,
but it'd be
the Plum
easy to
Stitchery.
paint over that too. I've been telling people that, like, just if you're not a Great Lakes person, like you
Oh,
are,
like if you're at any lake.
but you
at-
could use that little paint pen that I've been talking about and
Yep.
get rid of the words.
and just
or
make
stitch
that a
over it.
lake house,
'Cause
little
I
cabin.
think that's
It's-
very common to a lot of areas.
It's
without the
just
words.
so summer, so it just so says like chill, you're at the lake, and I just absolutely love it.
Well,
So
that was designed by our friend Joanna that brought us together for our Tiger Stitch Along too. So
Yes.
Joanna's getting a lot of love.
a
in
lot of
this
love today.
conversation.
Sorry, but yeah, so that just happens to be kind of my on theme.
Yeah.
On are you theming it up this
usually- well,
weekend or?
I usually do have something 4th of July. What I have that's close to being on theme, which I'd have
'cause
to
it's
explain a
summery.
little,
Oh, how cute.
is these cute little Kirk and Bradley dogs, and I actually have 2 of them. And the reason that they're on theme is in the house here, we have a room
Oh.
upstairs. Megan just took a little cottage tour with me.
Yes.
And this is for the bedrooms there. So that's why it's on theme for me, even though it's not.
Oh, perfect. So you're here and
so-
you're actually stitching something that you're going to put
Yeah,
up in
and
a
then
room.
I can make sure
Oh,
the
how
colors
cute.
match and all
Yeah,
that.
perfect.
And I'm also doing this in a Laura Taylor class, and she picked the background. I don't know how well you can see that.
very
that looks
cool.
pretty good. So the background stitch was amazing. So I did during quarantine. Laura Taylor started these online Zoom classes, and so that was kind of a treat for me for myself, especially
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning when my family was all up here and I was at home by myself. It really made me feel like I wasn't home alone.
Yeah.
So-
Who's the designer on those canvases? Not to put you on
Kirk
the
and
spot.
Bradley.
Oh, it's a Kirk and Bradley canvas.
No, I
okay.
usually know, so you're allowed to ask me that anytime. So I think I've had these. So this is in defense of the stash. So for those of you who might not like buy a canvas and finish it before you buy your next one, I have quite a stash from my years of stitching from far before I bought the shop. And I think these have been in my stash for like 8 years, maybe.
Oh, wow. They're darling, and they're
so-
so perfect for that bedroom.
Yeah.
Some of her bedrooms have these like awesome, bright.
And I don't even
colors.
think I had this house when I bought these canvases. I just really liked them because I'm a huge dog person.
That's
I think you guys have heard me
perfect.
talk about my dogs. So,
Well,
yeah.
speaking of dogs, I'm doing one other thing. Can I show you my thing?
Yes.
So I grabbed this. I put it in a baggie on my way out the door. So my our custom painter at my shop, Melissa's is different. She has a custom painter too, but I do what I call canvas for a cause, and I've got a couple of them in the shop. And my painter said, would it be okay if I submitted a canvas for a cause? And I was like, well, of course. And so I off the top of my head, I should have researched this before I came on here, but she has a charity that she likes to give to because she lost a favorite pup to cancer. And so there's
Aw.
actually a lot of research around dog.
Canine.
Fair, yes, canine cancer treatment. And so she wants to give to that charity. So she created this cool, I'm going to use Melissa's paper again to show this to you.
That's so cute.
It's a lab, and she put the St. Louis flag in it, and she said that she could do any flag. She can do an American flag. She can do like the Chicago flag. She could do.
I love that.
And like sort of. She's going to keep it labs for right now until we get a lot of like people requesting, just because
Right.
we've got the template, and so then she can paint them rather inexpensively, and then she can make a donation to this charity
I
that
love
she
it.
chooses in support of this canvas. So I'm getting a puppy.
I can't wait.
I'm crazy. I'm running a shop. I've got 2 little kids, and I have never had a puppy of my own. When I married my husband, he had a dog, and sadly we had to put him down a couple of years ago, and I've just kind of felt this little hole ever since. And so
Aw.
when we get back on Sunday, we're going to hopefully, as long as he's all ready to rock and roll, we're getting a puppy, and we're going to call him Rookie. Isn't that cute?
Oh my
My
God.
son named it.
I love it. I love it. And I saw a picture. He's darling.
He's a lab mix. So I grabbed this on the way out, and I just grabbed a bunch of threads from a stash, some Trebizond, and some pepper pot, and a little vineyard silk. And anyway, so I'm hoping I can maybe get some stitches in, and I don't know, we'll see if my kids go to sleep early, and I'll have some time to work on that too. I don't know what I'm thinking. I always think I have all this time to do all these projects, but
more and more and more.
so I'll just do a little plug. Like, if anybody's interested in this, just shoot me a message, because I really thought it was a sweet sentiment that she wanted to do this canvas. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
What
else you got?
So this one I've barely started.
Oh, I'm
This
really
is-
interested in this.
This is a Pepperberry Designs, and so I have a very good friend who used to live in Grosse Pointe, where my shop is, and now she lives in Chicago, and Needlepoint has really kept us together, and Terry is probably watching us. So
Hi, Terry.
I talk to Terry all the time. As a matter of fact, Megan brought me some threads for Terry that I didn't have
Oh,
that
that's
she
for
needs
her.
for a project. And so we pick, we have these little clues, and we do a thing once a month where we commit to doing an ornament together, again, to rationalize having a stash. So, but the main reason I pulled this out is, you can see I started just a little bit of his, I can't even say which, there we go. His fur trim. So that is a thread that the last time Megan and I were together was in Nashville.
She's
right?
that terribly out of focus photo. Melissa says, "Hey, you want to do a quick post when we're getting together?" And she sends me that picture. I'm like, "Girl, we can do better than that."
Well, the worst part of it was I actually had one that was in focus, but I was sending you that picture so quickly in my pre-vacation. I sent
I
you
totally
the
get it.
out of focus.
I just
one.
have to give her some trouble.
Yeah,
That's
and
just
you,
the way we
you
work.
didn't tell me, and yeah.
Well, I thought that was the only
anyways.
one we had to work with.
So we both bought this thread. Sorry, and I don't know.
Yeah,
if you,
I'm really excited about this, and
So-
I honestly have not used it yet.
It's called Silk Eyelash. So it's like a lot of the other like fun threads, except for a lot of the fun threads are rayon
Sparkly.
and have sparkle in it. So this, and I have a different thread at the shop called Teddy, which you have to couch on top. But this you can actually thread in your needle and stitch with it.
On 18 count, you said.
Yeah, so I just put one strand in it, and I just stitched those in vertical satin stitches, and it'll just fill up the
Oh.
space. It was super easy to work with.
So you didn't I thought you said you basket weave. I wasn't listening.
No, just long stitches.
Just long stitches.
Yeah.
Nice. And you.
So, and I mean,
That's even better
I think
because
it's
it's
super
faster.
cute.
It's absolutely
So,
darling.
yeah.
And what I liked about that thread, the reason I brought that into my shop, and I think you were thinking the same thing. We have fuzzy stuff. We have Whisper. We have Angora. We've got all
We
these
have all
things
those,
that
yep.
yeah. And but this gave a bit of a different effect because it also comes in. Did you pick up the whole line?
I did the whole
Yeah,
whole
me
line,
too,
I
which
think
is
it's
rather small.
11 colors or something like that.
Yes, but it's great for animal fur because
Yeah.
it doesn't have. So we love fuzzy stuff, particularly for Christmas ornaments or things
Right.
because it's got that great jazzy effect. But I think sometimes when you just want something that's more muted or
Right.
not
You don't always want the
sparkly,
sparkle.
you don't always
Yeah.
want the sparkle. So this is. It reminds me a lot of fuzzy stuff, except for it doesn't have that. Does it
It's
not
a-
you?
I think it's a little longer. The
Oh, the little-
threads are a little longer, and now Rainbow Gallery also has something called eyelash, which then
Very
is
long.
similar, but it's really long. Like, so to me, it's the happy medium between fuzzy stuff and eyelash. And
And
it comes in
eyelash
all
you have to
these
do long too.
great animal
Pardon me.
colors. And then it also has 3 Halloween colors like that.
Yes.
Orange, purple, and
Like a limey
lime
green. And it's great for like witch's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like scarves and Halloween things. So
Which we should
Yeah.
do a whole Halloween thing, because what's hilarious is neither one of us likes Halloween,
God,
but we love
love
Halloween
to
stitching.
I love Halloween stitches.
that
Yeah,
funny?
we will have to do that.
That'd be
I
fun.
think it's because the colors are so fun for Halloween stuff.
Yeah, and there's like little cutesy spiders, and there's just like it's just
awesome.
it's.
I've done a lot
yeah,
of class projects with that, and
same.
yeah, yeah.
I think I might have one more thing. We had a little. We kind of had a little list. We were trying to be organized, so we didn't just like chatterbox it.
Well, we have my couple exclusive things, or one of my.
Oh!
No, you
Oh,
talked
here's
about
a
my
finish. No,
exclusive.
bring it up, bring it up,
So
bring it up.
this I just finished. So
This is
Rachel
so
Donnelly.
stinking cute.
Actually, you have a whole club going with Rachel.
We do.
So she was working with Rachel, and this is like the type of shop help we give each other. So she's like, I'm doing this club with Rachel, but she's now doing these cities that are exclusive. So she's like, you've got to run down to her room.
Get
and,
on it.
and line this up. So Megan says run, and I run. Vice versa. We're like, okay,
Good
we
idea,
got it.
go.
So this is an exclusive, and again, learning something from my customers every day. I will admit that I blatantly borrowed the border, splitting the border in half from one of the club stitches that you did at your shop, and then I was just starting it, and one of my customers, Kathy, had ordered this, or bought it, excuse me, and she found this awesome background stitch, which I don't know how well you can see it. I'll hold it up and,
Is it
who
out of a
knows?
book? Do you know?
It's in Mary's Whimsical Stitches,
Oh, cool.
which is, a total favorite. On page 202, I don't know why I remember that.
Wow.
But
Because she's a numbers girl.
Kathy
Did you all know
told-
that? She was in finance before.
Yeah, so the numbers do stick. So, so Kathy had started out using it, and I thought it was great. So,
And you know what else I think is so funny? I would have never chosen Flair. I just don't know why. I would have never chosen Flair for that. For
I
this.
do Flair all
and
the
it's
time for
awesome.
peppermint stripes. You don't always do that? That's like my go-to.
Ah,
And
nope.
a lot of times I pat it, and I'll admit, I
well,
was kind of lazy.
But what I was
didn't
about
pat
to
this.
say, did you? Because it looks kind of padded, and I think it's just because of the amount of Flair. Like Flair's just
Flair's designed to go either
Heavy.
18 mesh or 13
Yeah.
mesh because it smooshes. It's like nylon, so it'll smoosh up.
it's perfect.
So it worked out great. So this is, back to, we do a lot of things for the shop. So this is a shop sample.
and then that little heart. I mean, how
Isn't
cute!
that
How
cute?
cute is that?
Well, and I will admit that was also my customer Kathy's idea.
So
She
cute.
was like a step ahead of me, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna go with that.
So you know what's funny? I'm just looking at this. I think that Rachel's brilliant. I have to say, she's just so clever. And you tell her, "How about we do this?" And then she's like, "Okay, great." And so this must be some kind of special
That's the
architectural
clock
feature.
tower in our little downtown area.
And ours, I think, says 314 somewhere because that's I think, or maybe
it
somebody
does,
put it
and
in
I
there.
opted to not do that because,
That's not.
well, I guess I could have done an area code. I didn't
That's
think
what
about
ours
that.
is. 314
I
is
know,
the area
but wouldn't
code.
it be a zip code?
Well, you could do that too. But so St. Louis is funny because it's very municipal, and so
Yeah,
you've
so
got
we
all
have
these
different
little
zip
town
codes, so
things.
that's why I didn't want to use the zip
So there's
code.
no zip code for us. Well, Kirkwood we could have done, but for
Right.
St. Louis,
Yeah.
it was the 314 because that's the area
makes more
code, and it
sense.
was just kind
I
of.
didn't
but
think about that.
numbers, I think. So anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is that each one of these sweet little like greetings postcards are so special to the little town, and
Right.
Rachel does tons of research, and she works with the shop, and anyway, you should check it out and see if your local needlepoint shop has one for your city, or if you're traveling, it might be a great little thing to pick up as sort of like a travel piece.
Yeah. So
if
this
you're
is
visiting a shop.
obviously
So, super
specific
cute.
to our town, but I also, per Megan's advice, because she's really smart about these things, suggested that I do a Mackinac
Again,
one.
you know I love a good theme.
She has a tie to Mackinac Island.
Oh, you have the Mackinac one too.
So we have the exclusive Mackinac one, which
and
is
the Grosse Point.
very similar, except
it
for
has a
this.
bicycle.
This is shaped like the island here, and then this is a bicycle with a little basket of their lilacs. So that was your.
So
other
one thing I may have skipped over, she just mentioned it, is that my tie to Michigan. So I grew up in Northern Illinois. But before my foray into fundraising, I worked at the Grand Hotel, which is on Mackinac Island here in Michigan, which is where I met my friend, who I'm staying with. We were working summers in college, and just developed the nicest relationship with the women that we worked with there at the hotel, my girlfriend and I, and we've maintained that relationship. And I knew that the women who I worked for at the Grand Hotel were also needle pointers. And so when I bought the shop, I just kind of reached out to them and I said, hey guys, I have a needlepoint shop. And so I've sent them some things on the island to work on, and just in sort of some discussion, we came up with an exclusive kit for them to sell at the Grand Hotel. And again, gosh, Joanna, this is getting kind of embarrassing.
God, we're like fangirling.
I know.
her
Sorry.
so bad.
Really
do
and there are
work with
so many
lots of
wonderful other
designers.
designers out there. I'm sorry. That's so bizarre. But anyway, so and I think why I talk about Joanna a lot, I will say, and give her a tiny plug, is that she and I both kind of came into the industry, and I guess Melissa too, kind of all around the same time. And so we were kind of like bonded together through some naivete and just trying to like figure things out. And so I kind of went to her a lot for help and questions and oh, hey, I have this idea, can you help me? And so Joanna actually has designed all of the Grand Hotel exclusive ornaments, which I don't have them all here. They're on my Instagram feed. But Melissa, having
But
the
I have
connection,
one.
decided to grab one. And so she's got
back to the dog
Scotty.
thing. So I haven't started this. Megan just brought me this. But the owners have 2 Scotties. Is that the story of
No,
this?
actually, ish, yes. So the original owners of the Grand Hotel had show dogs, and recently they added an ice cream parlor at the shop called Sadie's, and Sadie was a winning, however you want to call it. Like I don't know. I doubt it was like best of show or something, but I think she was a winning.
She got
show
lots
dog.
of awards.
Thank
Okay.
you. I don't know how to call it, but so Sadie was a kind of a beloved dog of theirs that was a show dog, and so Sadie's ice cream parlor is decorated with the
These cute little Scotties.
this cute Scotty dogs, and then of course Rudy, who might be watching, it works with Dorothy Draper Company, and the Dorothy Draper Company is the designer at the Grand Hotel. So
Okay.
not only is it Scotty's, but it's got like mint green and just like so Dorothy Draper style, like Carlton Barney,
cute.
very awesome. And so anyway, that was inspired. We kept it kind of a little less wild than the decorating in Sadie's, just
Right.
to be more.
Well, and
I
I
guess
didn't
retail
even know
friendly.
that, other than I'm a big dog fan, and I just thought it was super cute. So
Well, and that's what's
away
kind of
we
nice.
went.
So for me, excuse me for interrupting, but what's nice for me is that this doesn't say Grand Hotel, and so it kind of appeals to a lot of people for a lot
Right,
of
and
different
that
reasons.
was me. And speaking of Rudy, he recently posted, maybe yesterday, a finished version of our Mackinac greetings.
Nice.
So it was
Oh,
awesome.
good. Yeah, Rudy the Prep. He's awesome. If you guys don't follow him on Instagram, he's a lot
He's
of fun,
very
and he's
fun.
been supportive of a lot of our designs. So
Yes,
he's great.
yes.
But
Okay.
that just
Did we
kind of
do
speaks
it?
to the stitching community. It's been. I have one other thing sitting here, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
show us fast.
Is my one last thing.
Yeah.
I'm working on patches for a
Oh,
denim
so,
jacket.
So when we're not fangirling,
Oh my God.
when we're not fangirling,
We did
Joanna
not
at the Plum
practice
Stitchery.
it, or we
Now
did not plan
Rachel,
this.
Rachel's a big fan. Although Rachel was so good to us for our giveaway.
Rachel was wonderful. That's
so
right.
it is
we
good
did.
that
I don't
we're
know
showing her things off.
if
a
our
lot.
winners are watching, but Rachel so kindly and graciously donated or gave us
Yes.
those to
Gingerbread
give
girls.
away as a giveaway. So we
Yeah.
had those little gingerbread girls. But anyway, so one last thing. So these I think are touted a lot as fitting into either the self-finishing pieces or whatever. But I'm working on, and we'll see someday. I will get this out and show you. I'm working on patches for a denim jacket, all in
Oh, that's gonna be
needlepoint.
so cute.
So I'm slowly but surely. I have this idea. It's always, all the ideas and not enough time to do the stitching. So, but
And
I
I've
love
got one of-
champagne. And where is my champagne? I meant to toast you.
Oh,
Darn it.
We'll do that later.
That would have been the perfect segue, right?
Yeah. Well, and I've got a Rachel Donnelly over there too that I brought to work because it fits in this awesome little black wooden box.
Oh,
that I
yes,
have,
yes,
so I'm gonna
yes.
do that.
Yes. Again, the self-finish.
So-
We're both kind of trying to,
Yeah.
sort of talk about that a lot.
So
but
we've been at this for it looks like 38 minutes now. So maybe we've bored
everybody's
people to
sick
death.
of hearing from us,
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. So
But
We'll
anyway,
wrap it
so
up.
that's what we're working on. We hope that you're having just an awesome 4th of July weekend, enjoying some stitching, enjoying some family time. Oh, look at Maisie's going to come visit us.
Come here,
Come here, Maisie.
oh nope.
Anyway, so again, everybody's hanging out at home. We're just keeping it real with the dogs and the lives and the kayakers, and so.
Yeah, I think now we'll go for maybe a swim in that beautiful lake.
Is that what
'cause
we're
I'm
gonna
hot.
do?
I feel really sweaty.
Yeah, we got a little.
so-
It got a little warmer here in the sun than we hoped. But
it's
thank you
good.
for watching as always, and we are going to continue with our Saturday night release of our.
Assuming technology all goes well, but my technology expert son has just arrived, so if we
All
have any
right.
snafus, we can
Nice.
refer to him. But we've done
Nice.
okay on our own.
I
He just
like
had
it.
to teach us the first time.
You know,
So-
I think we're doing pretty well too,
Yeah.
considering. So, thanks for watching. You guys are awesome.